Okay, I'm reading chapter 18 of You Don't Know Everything, Jilly P. Christmas morning is a flurry of presents. I get some great stuff, including a scooter, a wooden jewelry box, and a beautiful necklace and bracelet with purple amethyst stones to go in it. A gift card for buying music online, 4 graphic novels, and an amazing purple, magically mysterious Vidalia fleece jacket. Vidalia pens and stationery, a Vidalian coloring book, and a huge poster of Gwenella that I'm going to hang on the ceiling of my bedroom. Emma gets all sorts of clothes and toys. She piles her pile of presents is so big that she could sit on it like a mountain. It's amazing how large things can be for a person so little. I give Emma a t-shirt that says, "I love being a baby." All the letters are made from babies sitting and standing in different positions. Mom says it's precious. Mom gets a new single cup French press from me. She usually drinks coffee about 2 hours after Dad makes it, so she's always complaining that it's cold. This way, she can make her own when she gets up. I give Dad a fancy lemon squeezer and some gourmet peppercorns. Dad says that if you can't eat it or eat with it, it's not much of a gift. So we're done with presents. Mom bakes pies, apple and pumpkin, not sweet potato, while I download some new music and Dad reads a book about the history of the tomato in Italy that Mom gave him. He's really into Italian cooking. Mom jokes that the wedding was nice, but she knew he loved her 2 years later, the first time he let her stir his tomato sauce while he took a nap. Did you know that the tomato originated in the Andes Mountains of South America? Dad says. The first ones reached Italy less than 500 years ago. I wonder what people put on their pasta before that, I say. Probably olive oil. Ugh. Don't knock nature's greatest emollient. By the way, what's red and invisible? What? My what is more of an exclamation of "what are you talking about?" than actually asking him to give the answer. But he responds with pride. No tomatoes. I laugh, and then I wonder if I get it. Then I decide that's part of what makes the joke so amazing and laugh more. Once Mom is done baking, we pile into the car and it's like Thanksgiving all over again. Except I'm not as hungry and I have a new graphic novel to read. Mom and Dad and even Emma are in good moods. And the car is a happy bubble on its way to Aunt Lou's and Uncle Saul's house. Dad puts on a classy Christmas mix CD that Aunt Alicia made for us when we were little. We listen to it every year on the drive to Aunt Lou and Uncle Saul's. It has a couple of popular songs on it. Some really pretty ones, and a few silly ones too. My favorite is about Santa Claus, who never showed up, and a possibly related chimney clog. Sorry, what in the world? A few songs in, I get an idea. I already know the sign for Santa Claus, which is about showing his big bushy beard. I pull out my phone and learn 2 new signs for the day. By the time Bruce Springsteen starts to sing, I'm ready. I can't do the verses, but when we hit the chorus, I turn to Emma and I sign, Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, I can sign Santa Claus come town anyway. Then again, and again, along with the music. Dad turns around and notices what I'm doing and asks me to show him the signs. Mom learns them too, even though she can only use one of her hands because she's driving. By the end of the song, Emma is smiling and waving her fist, and I wonder whether she's trying to copy us. The other songs on the CD are harder because they don't sing the same words over and over again. But I try to sign Santa Claus to Emma whenever a song about Jilly, a big jolly guy, comes on, and when the Muppets sing the 12 Days of Christmas. I can sign most of the numbers, as well as day and Christmas. They're similar signs, but in opposite directions, which is fun and also pretty. After the CD is done, Dad goes back and plays Santa Claus is Coming to Town again. We sing at the top of our lungs and sign the part we know. When we pull up at Aunt Lou and Uncle Saul's house, though, the joy in the car fades. We're the first ones here, and besides their kids, Annie, Matt, and Jaden, the only other people coming are Graham, Uncle Mike, and Adriana. Aunt Alicia told me last week that she, Aunt Joanne, Jamila, and Justin are staying home today. We don't need to deal with a repeat of Thanksgiving, and we certainly don't need to deal with my homophobic folks. Nah, the best present we can give each other is a day of rest. Inside, Matt and Jaden are in the middle of the living room's floor, still in their pajamas, surrounded by Legos and tiny cars and picture books and taffy-making kits, and all sorts of other toys and boxes and wrapping paper. Annie is probably in her room. Aunt Lou orders Matt and Jaden upstairs to get changed and tells them to send Annie down. Annie flops onto the couch with her cell phone and a giant sigh. Texting with lightning thumbs. She's lucky, though. Adriana will be here any minute, and then she'll have someone for the rest of the day. I never have anyone my age at family things, and now not even my favorite aunt will be here. No one to wink at me from across the room, no one to cuddle with me while watching football, and no one to call me Jilly Bean. Graham arrives with 2 big bags of presents and sweeps around the room with a round of kisses. She lands on Emma, scooping her out of Uncle Saul's arms and into her own. Sweet marmalade! She has grown so much in the last month. Oh, look, she's holding her head up. Matt and Jaden have already separated the gifts into a pile for each person by the time Uncle Mike and Adriana arrive. And the grown-ups decide that it's long enough before dinner that we can open our presents now. Matt and Jaden cheer. I get a purple sweater, 3 pairs of jeans from Aunt Lou and Uncle Saul, and a couple of cool Magically Mysterious Vidalia t-shirts from Uncle Mike and Adriana. And a white leather purse I'll probably never use, and some more Vidalia stationery from Graham. It's too bad that all my Vidalia friends are online. My family opens presents one at a time, and everyone has to watch each gift being unwrapped. So dinner is ready by the time we're done. With 2 extra seats at the table available, and with half of M and Trip J gone, the adults decide that Matt, Jaden, and I will all get to sit at the main table. Mom thought I would be excited, but I'd rather sit at the kids' table and have Aunt Alicia and Aunt Joanne here. The middle of the table fills with trays and bowls of food. Ham instead of turkey and pineapple chunks and cherries instead of cranberry sauce, but otherwise it looks and tastes a lot like Thanksgiving. I still love buttered corn. I still hate buttered turnips. How's school? Aunt Lou asks. Fine, I say. She doesn't ask me to elaborate, the way Aunt Alicia does when I give one-syllable answers. Are you enjoying having a baby sister? Uncle Saul asks. I guess. So, says Uncle Mike. I'm almost glad he says something until he continues. How do you think Alicia and Joanne are doing today? You think they're having an almighty sweet potato pie? Everyone else muscles tense as one. Mike, Graham says her son's name as if issuing a first warning, which she pretty much is. What? I'm kidding. Adriana buries her head into her hands. Not again, Dad, okay? Not again what? Not again speaking my own mind? I get to have thoughts too, you know. And unlike some people, I don't just refuse to come because someone hurt my feelings. No one says Aunt Alicia's name, but it hangs in the air and makes everything on my plate taste bitter. Uncle Mike keeps at it. And all because of an old story about Dad and Mom being curious about dessert. It's not just that, I say. The whole table turns and looks at me. Even Matt and Jaden, who stopped building green bean towers, turn to watch me talk back to the adults. I'd better make this good. Then what is it? Uncle Mike smirks at me like he's stuck me with a question I can't answer. It's racism, I say. and I watched the mouths of adults drop around the table. "Whoa now," says Uncle Mike. "I'm not a racist," Grandma shakes her head, "and I'll not be called by one by someone who's not old enough to remember Rodney King, much less Martin Luther King Jr. "No one's saying you're a racist," says Mom. "Sure sounds like your daughter is," Uncle Mike says. "What I'm saying is that racism is a big problem, like really big, and sometimes you don't even know you're doing it." "All I wanted was to taste sweet potato pie," says Graham. "I don't see what's so wrong with that." And Alicia says it's all related, that it hurts even when you didn't mean it to. "Wow, it's like having that woman here anyway," says Uncle Mike. "Her name is Alicia," says Mom. "I know." "Then stop calling her that woman." "Fine. It's like having Alicia here anyway." "And what about Justin and Jamila?" I ask. "Do you want something bad to happen to them when they get older?" "It's not like that, Jilly." Aunt Lou tries to soften the blow, but Aunt Alicia wouldn't, and I'm not going to either. "Black kids get shot all the time," I say, "and it keeps happening because no one does anything about it." "This is not dinner conversation," says Graham, "and this is not the right time." "Then when is the right time to talk about families who can't get together for Christmas?" The table goes silent. No one answers my question. "I'm going to get coffee started," says Aunt Lou after a moment, while Graham and Mom clear the table. Uncle Saul loads the dishwasher, Adriana and Annie run upstairs, and Matt and Jaden take Matt's new juggling kit to the basement to practice. Uncle Mike sits on the couch and turns on the football game. Dad puts his arm around my shoulder and invites me to join him on the front porch. Outside, he sits down and pats the chair next to him. "Are you mad at me?" I ask. "Mad?" He makes a wrinkled face of disbelief. "Why, I don't know if I've ever been prouder of you. But I yelled at Uncle Mike." If anyone ever deserved to be yelled at, it was Uncle Mike. And you weren't just yelling. You were naming what was happening. He takes my hand in his. I can still feel the word racism on my mouth. "Are you okay?" Dad asks, squeezing my palm. "Yeah," I say. "Then I'm going to check in with your mom and figure out what we're going to do. You don't have to come inside if you don't want to." "I don't want to." Dad gives me a kiss on the forehead and goes inside and I pull out my phone to text Aunt Alicia. "Uncle Mike is a real jerk." She answers less than a minute later. She doesn't ask why, and I don't go into details. "Has been since the day I met him." "I'm sorry you have to deal with people like him." "Me too." "I called what he did at Thanksgiving racist." It sure was. "And what Graham said too, even though it was different." "Good job, Jilly Bean." "I wish you could be here today." "I do too." "I love you, Aunt Alicia." "I love you too." I'm still staring at her last text, pressing the buttons so the screen stays lit, when Dad comes back outside, followed by Mom with Emma in her arms. "You did get in there," Mom says with a smile. "I don't know that it was the most polite way to go about things." "I don't think polite works with Uncle Mike," I say. Dad holds back his laughter with a snort. "Fair point," Mom says. "I'm really proud of you for sticking up for what's right, Jilly." This time it's the Perillos leaving the holiday family dinner before dessert and without any leftovers. Bruce is still wailing about being good for goodness sake when Dad starts the car, but Mom turns it down and changes the station. None of us are in the mood to sign about Santa anymore. I close my eyes, and by the time we're on the highway, Mom and Dad think I'm asleep. They're talking in low tones in the front seat, and I can't make out a lot of what they're saying, but I can tell they're talking about me and how glad they are that I stood up to Uncle Mike. Both Mom and Dad are proud of me, And I'm proud of me too. But why do I feel so icky?